Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Doing Business in Bentonville. My name is Andy Wilson, and I'm your host. I'm the executive director. And again, thank you so much for your wonderful support and participation in our podcast. Thank you. It's been just awesome. And you know, we're also your favorite streaming channels, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and of course, LinkedIn. I have such a wonderful guest that I'm here with today. And David Rapps, welcome to Doing Business in Bentonville.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Wow. I mean, David, all the way from Montreal.
Yeah, I'm a Canadian in Bentonville.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, good. Welcome to Northwest Arkansas. We're so glad you're here. We have got so much to talk about today. I have recently met David, and we've had several conversations on the phone. This is my first time to meet him in person, and he's every bit or more than what I thought he would be. He's just a really great individual, comes from a great family, and has a great family of your own.
Yeah. Yes.
So tell us about your family.
Well, I'm a husband, a father. We have three great kids, 9, 6, and 1.5. We got a baby at home, and I come from a family of 3, and I'm in a family business as well. I feel like family's been a big part of my life and a big part of my work for the last number of years.
Awesome. Well, we're going to talk about your current role, but we want to step back too. But let's tell people what you do and what we're going to talk about. Then I want to step back and learn a bit and talk a bit more about your family business. Could we do that?
Sure.
Okay. So your business, your name of your company is Wholescale.
Wholescale. That's
okay.
right.
What is that?
Wholescale, well, the name actually comes from the idea that we're going to help wholesale suppliers, wholesale product companies, scale their business. Mm-hmm. And now more than ever, there's so many different things you have to do right if you want to produce product and distribute them at any level of scale or volume. And so Wholescale is a digital platform that helps consumer product companies specifically get ratings and reviews for their PDPs at Walmart and other retailers. And I come by this honestly because I practice so many of these principles myself, trying to navigate the supplier world, selling to the likes of Walmart for a number of years.
Well, okay. If you are a supplier and Walmart, Sam's, whatever, or you're in the business of selling products, you need to really listen in today, because David is going to really walk us through some extremely helpful information and how you can sell more product. So, and the communication with the ultimate customer. But before we get to that,
yes.
Okay, tell us about your family business and what happened and how you became now the president CEO of Wholescale. So, sure. Walk us through that. It's a really interesting story.
Yeah, sure. I was practicing law. I'm a former lawyer. My dad asked me, said, "David, do you want to get involved in the business?" And I always wanted to get involved in my family's business. Never knew when the right time would be, but it was the right time. And what is the family business? The business called Coligo International. And my late grandfather started working at this business when he was just a kid. So my late grandfather, if we just go back a bit more, dropped out of school when he was 14 years old. He had to support his family. He started working at this business called Capital Leather Goods, which was essentially Coligo. And later in life, I won't go into all the details, but he ended up buying that business later on in his life. And so it's been in the family for quite some time. It was a leather goods manufacturer, then it became a backpack, back-to-school accessory manufacturer and distributor. And in the early 2010s, we got into luggage. So Coligo International got into luggage, and we started selling luggage in, I think it was around 2012, 2013. I wasn't there at the time. Started selling luggage to Walmart. Got an opportunity to meet with the Walmart team in Bentonville and got product into Walmart on the mod. So that was a big deal. And so if you fast forward, then I joined in 2015, and we started building our luggage brands. And one of the luggage brands is iFly Luggage, and that's sold today at Walmart on the modular. And then if we fast forward, we won Supplier of the Year actually in 2018 in D74, which was a big thrill. It was probably the proudest day for my dad, my family, in the business to win that type of award here in Bentonville. And fast forward a bit more, we get to 2020 and the pandemic. And so suddenly I became president of Coligo in 2019, and then 2020 we had the pandemic. And luggage sales obviously went down. There was a standstill in travel. It was a very, very difficult year. And I remember when I drive to work every day, I call my mom, and I remember one day I'm like, Ma, what are we going to do if they don't let people travel, or if people just stop traveling for the next 2 years? Because if you remember at that time, it was so uncertain. And so that's when I really started thinking about if something were to happen to the business, because of macro level events, what would I do? And I thought about what I'm good at, and not good at many things, but I'm good at a few things. And one of them is ratings and reviews. And that was the sort of the beginning story of Wholescale.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
And the pandemic is really a date, isn't it? It really is for this country.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and for the world, for the country, and for our business. I remember it was late February. I was at the Growth Forum here, Supplier Growth Forum in Bentonville. I went home. I was flying through Chicago, and all the screens were showing, it was late February 2020. So, travel standstill. There may be an issue with travel. And I called my dad. I said, Dad, my flight's delayed. There was wind or something like that. He said, have you seen the news? I said, yeah. He goes, David, I think we're going to have to speak to the team on Monday, because it looks like travel and luggage sales are going to go down. They're saying it's even going to go down by 10%. So I said to my dad, Dad, sales are not going to go down by 10%. Do me a favor, please don't tell people that on Monday. You're going to scare everyone at the office. He goes, I think it's going to happen. I said, it's not going to happen. And then on Monday, I think either Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, we had a remote work policy for a little bit, and like the whole world just seemed to change like overnight.
You're right. You did. It did. And that's the same thing. It's just amazing. And then, how we have reinvented and changed and all the creative things that come out of the pandemic and the very unfortunate event, definitely in the world. But in business, we have learned to navigate that. And okay. So let's move now to your new company. Let's talk Wholescale. So what is Wholescale?
So Wholescale's a way. It's a methodology and a technology. It's a way to get end consumers who buy your product, you being a supplier. It's a way to get them to engage with you post-purchase, so that they leave a review with your brand or with your product. And what Wholescale does so well is that we understand what makes customers tick. And so if someone comes into a store, into a Walmart, and buys a supplier's product, we help that supplier through things that we do with them from a technology and methodology standpoint. We basically help them get that end consumer to leave a rating and review.
Okay.
And then we take that rating and review and we publish that review on Walmart.com.
Okay. Now, I am a fan of writing reviews and reading reviews before I purchase. Here's one concern I have, and I know I'm not the only one that has that concern, because a lot of people have that concern. How do we know that the reviews that we read on a product is accurate? To use a word, it's not fake. Okay, how do we know that?
Yeah, so we like the word authentic. Is it a real review?
Okay,
there are a couple ways to know. By law, if the customer who's leaving the review did not purchase the product, if they didn't purchase the product, or if they were incentivized to leave the review, by law, it has to say on the review, the person supplying the review, not the end consumer, but the platform supplying that review, or the retailer needs to indicate that this was an incentivized review or a sampled review. So when you're reading a review, sometimes you'll see something that says incentivized review or review left as part of a promotion. If you see something like that, or honest review exchanged for product, if you see that, then you know that the person was at least incentivized to leave the review. Perhaps that person was even gifted a product to leave the review.
Right.
if you don't see that, then most likely it is that the review is authentic. However, there are bad actors out there, and there's been a lot of media that has come out in prior years around, Facebook groups that have these fake reviewers that are sort of plotting to write fake reviews. And so what we do at Wholescale is we prioritize authentic reviews. We have robust technology to be able to do that, and we actually don't do incentivization. So if a client comes to us and says, hey, I want to do product sampling, we try to dissuade them from doing it, and we try and get them onto our core product, which is an authentic reviews product.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, so I know in my research at your company and our conversation, there's some significant things that set your company apart from other companies. And I've never had a review company on before. Sure. So I'm very comfortable having you on once I've learned about your company. So talk about what sets your company apart.
Yeah, for sure. So there are different companies out there that could push reviews into certain retailers. Mm-hmm. We're not the only one that can do that. But what sets us apart is that we are former suppliers. When you have experience doing something and solving complex problems, mm-hmm. you have an edge. And so what we look at is, what were the problems we were trying to solve?
Okay.
We were trying to solve a particular problem. Mm-hmm. We were trying to lower, as a supplier, we're always trying to lower cost. EDLC drives EDLP. We all know that, right?
Yeah.
So if we could drive costs out of our processes as a supplier, then we know we can offer a better value proposition to Walmart and obviously the customer. So for us, how can you get the most amount of authentic reviews as possible at the lowest cost? And so for us, that's all about methodology. It's how do you engage with that customer when they're buying your product or after they've purchased your product? How do you get them to talk to you? And so we have a few different methodologies that we deploy, but it depends on the type of supplier we're working with. Mm-hmm. If we work with a supplier that's selling mattresses, we're going to have a different approach than if that supplier is selling, I don't know, toothpaste.
Right.
And so that's sort of in the onboarding and discovery process of what we learn about each client.
Mm-hmm. That's great. So, okay, that's good, and I like your approach you're talking about. Now, I know that there's one thing that I've read about your company is about I know trust is really big, and I know that you've what I call your values. Okay, I'm going to call them your values. What I've read about you. So talk about those values that you have that are the foundational principles for your company.
It starts with trust.
Okay.
So we have 3 principles, and the first one is trust. The 3 are trust, authenticity, and independence.
Okay. Talk about each one of those, because I think that's critical.
So trust, when there is a depletion of trust between 2 parties, you can't do business with someone you don't trust. My late grandfather used to tell my dad that. He used to tell me that. You have to be able to trust in a business relationship. So if I'm a shopper and I'm on a retail store online and I'm reading through content, let's say I'm reading through reviews, and these reviews seem fake, mm-hmm. I'm less inclined to go and part with my money on a product that I can't really get behind because I feel like there's a level of distrust. So trust is at the center of everything. Okay. That's why it's one of our key principles. The second one is authenticity, and it aligns with trust. It's that you're way more likely to trust someone if they're authentic.
All right.
So we have to drive authentic reviews if we expect shoppers to trust our clients.
Right.
And I learned this in our luggage business. Richie Koplovich, who is a partner in the luggage business, he's been to Bentonville, I don't know, 100 times, and he always said that. He said the key is to get the shopper to trust you. So when you have trust, it's a lot easier to have trust when you have authenticity. So those 2 things go together. And then there's something that we like to focus on, which is independence. If you're dependent on product sampling programs, or if you're dependent on non-trustworthy, non-authentic programs, or programs that are I don't know, not taking your customer in the direction that they really should be taken in on the basis of trust, then you're not independent. You're dependent upon a whole system that really isn't authentic. And so we want brands to feel independent. We want them to have their content. We want them to be able to analyze their content, real content, make better merchandising decisions. How are you going to make really great merchandising decisions around what to optimize in your product or iterate in your product if you're basing it on reviews that are not purely authentic and trustworthy? And so those three things come together. And, I didn't start Coligo, I didn't found that business, but Wholescale I did. And I've really started to appreciate how important it is to have some guiding principles to help the team navigate complex issues when, you may not be there. So those are three principles we live by.
Those are wonderful. So, okay, I'm a merchant. I grew up being a merchant at Walmart.
Yeah.
And so lots of jobs, you can have a lot of jobs under that umbrella at Walmart, as you know. So here's what I'm thinking. Okay, because I was in merchandising at one time. I was actually a buyer at one time way back. So, and I know this. I wake up every morning when I was in, no matter what job I had at Walmart, the first thing I thought about was my sales. Okay, how's my sales? We did that. If you got that question, that question was asked to you 100 times a day, everywhere you walked. How's sales? That's what we did. If I'm sitting in a merchant's chair, a supplier, a vendor, or someone today that's selling to Walmart, Sam's, Kroger, whoever, okay, selling your product, I'm asking myself how sales is. What I was thinking when you were talking about your three principles, that's one way to improve your sales.
Oh, yeah.
Is develop that independence and develop that authenticity and develop the trust with your consumer or your customer. So what about a way to do that?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I love your approach. You can tell that you were on the other side before you did this, the other side as being a vendor.
Yeah.
Because you understanding that. That's a phenomenal process, Dave.
Well, we all look at reviews. Every shopper looks at reviews, and you said it earlier.
Yeah.
And so if you want to get into the mind of the shopper and say, okay, what is the shopper thinking about when they're let's say they're online looking at a product, or even sometimes in store, you're looking at a product in store, you go online to sort of check out the product. What shoppers trust most, or I'll frame it like this, the most trusted piece of content that a shopper will consume prior to making a purchase is a rating and review. They trust ratings and reviews. They want to hear what their neighbors and their fellow shoppers are saying. And so we see a positive correlation for sure. And we believe it's even causational. The more reviews you have, the more likely you are to drive more sales.
Yeah.
And so the number of reviews you have on a listing, the number of reviews will indicate whether this item is popular or not.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? And the star rating will give you an indication of, is the value proposition good? Right. It's not only a question of, is the quality good? Is the value proposition, is the equation between price and quality, benefit, features, brand, is that a good equation leading to a high value proposition? So sales is linked to this, and the more reviews you drive, the more likely it is you're going to drive more sales. And I'll say something else. Amazon figured this out a long time ago. If you were to go onto Amazon.com and look at some products or some collections pages, you're going to see products that are jumping to the top of the list because of the number of reviews they have.
Right.
And what I'm so proud about is I've been to Bentonville I've been coming here for the last 8 years. It's probably the place I travel to most out of anywhere that I travel. And we've done a lot of good things with Walmart. And so and Walmart's done a lot of great things with us. What I'm excited about is when I look at collections pages on Walmart.com and I see some of our clients who are at the top of the list or who are having success, I get excited seeing more reviews on Walmart than you would see on other retailers. And that's exciting for me. And it's one of the reasons why I'm grateful that Walmart included us to be one of the syndication partners.
Okay, let's talk about that. Okay, because I want to go over that too fast because so many of our viewers and listeners today are suppliers in the Walmart, Sam's piece. Okay, a lot, hundreds of that. So I know Walmart recently reached out to you, and I know what did they do? What did Walmart do? I know it was something really good.
Yeah,
so tell us about it.
It was really good. We became a syndication partner to Walmart, and Walmart has different syndication partners for different reasons. I mean, there's some companies can push in images or push in content, and those companies are, I guess, suppliers or providers of connected content. And so we are a connected content solution provider for the purposes of reviews. And that's exciting because in the industry of reviews, many of your suppliers who are listening will know that there's really just a select few partners or providers of reviews. And Walmart knows this better than anyone. When you give choice, you create competition. That's better for the end consumer, right? Competition really helps. And so competition and platform choice in the world of reviews is really helpful to the suppliers and really helpful downstream to the customers. But I also look at it upstream too. You have a lot of merchants who are trying to make the best merchandising decisions possible. And what better way than to listen to the actual words of the shopper? So the big news is that we're able to push reviews directly into Walmart.com, and that's a really exciting thing for our company.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you, and congratulations to my team and also to Walmart, because the collaboration and execution of those things, they're not easy to execute.
No, that's hard. Okay, so how does people find you? I mean, if I'm a supplier and I'm listening, and I'm looking, I got sales opportunities, whatever. How do they find about your company? Who do they talk to? Now, we're going to push this all on our website, but tell us anyway, because someone may be driving and they just need it, like, okay, I got to get this, I got to record this or something.
Yeah, for sure. I guess the most efficient way is you go to wholescale.com. That's WHOLESCALE.com. I think that's the first time I've ever spelt that name out loud. Wholescale.com, and there's either a contact button or a get started button, and then you'll have someone reach back out to you.
Yeah, wonderful. You sound like it's I love your story. The family business come up. You seem extremely passionate about what you're doing today. I think you're fairly good at it. It's pretty obvious. Walmart wouldn't have recognized you in that way if you weren't really good at it. So, all right. So as we summarize here for a moment about your company, can anyone reach out? Do they need to have a certain amount of products, or how does that work?
Yeah, you know what? We built this solution for national brand suppliers, private label brand suppliers.
Okay.
Or private brand suppliers. It's very important to us. We understand those worlds very well.
Okay.
And if you're a supplier of any shape or form, we would love to hear from you. And if you're an agency or, in consulting or a rep group of sorts, and you're trying to add value to your clients, essentially, reach out to us as well. And if nothing more than just to have a conversation and learn a little bit more about this world that, our team knows and understands very well. And I think it'll be to your benefit if I'm talking to the listeners, if they were to reach out.
Well, one of the things I really want to highlight for all of our viewers and listeners today is that just underline what you said. No question, trust is the most important thing. And I will tell you, when I read a poor review, I question, do I trust the company? And what I hear you're saying, that is absolutely how a consumer thinks.
Yeah, and I'll say even one more on that. That's such a good point, because I was focused on, before I was talking about, incentivized reviews or sampled reviews, but you're right. When negative reviews really hurt the sales ability or the sales opportunity for a supplier, so many times there are negative reviews on listings not because the product's bad, but because the company doesn't know how to proactively get feedback about their products. So they just don't do anything. And if you're a supplier that doesn't have a proactive strategy to get reviews, you're just inviting negativity.
Yes.
You're just basically, because the only people that are really taking time out of their day to review a product, they tend to be more negative there. Sorry, I shouldn't say the only people, but more often than not, they're negative. And so sometimes you see this, you'll see national brands, but also private label, where you'll see negative scores, and you're like, why is that product can't be that bad? That product sold like 500,000 units in the last year. How could they have like four, maybe 28 reviews with a 3.4 star rating? That's odd.
Yeah.
And the only reason why that happens is because there has not been a proactive strategy put in place by the supplier to get feedback. Walmart suppliers need to act differently than Amazon sellers.
Yeah.
They just do. It's a different marketplace. It's a different retail concept. There's stores versus everything being digital. And so we play to that because we understand it.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you, if I sold to Walmart today, if I was a supplier, I would be calling you.
Oh.
And I'd be texting you. I'd go to that button. Let's go. Let's get on the website.
Thank you.
Wholescale.com. Let's do it. Let's push that button and let's go to work, because you want to drive your business. But the thing that I think, again, I want to align to, again, what you said, not only trust, but authenticity and independence. I think those are all three great values, David, that you have. And it sounds like your whole system works around those values, works through those values, and you stand up on those values or principles.
You're absolutely right. We take it very seriously. I'm a passionate guy. Our team is passionate. We have a great team. I have a great business partner in this, and I'm really excited about the fact that we're driving a quality, productive solution to so many suppliers that need it.
Great. I can't tell you enough how wonderful it is that you stopped by the studio today. You came to Bentonville and you stopped by. Thank you. I want you to know too how much I appreciate our friendship and our relationship. And David, I hope you and your company, your family, the best for the future. And it sounds like that you don't quit easily. You've navigated the obstacles and you've come through it. And wonderful. Congratulations for that.
Thank you.
For Walmart in a couple of years to recognize you like Walmart did in a company that's not that old, and that says a lot within itself. So I know you have a lot, you and your team, to be proud of. So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you for having me. And it's always a treat to be in Bentonville. I learned that whenever you're invited to Bentonville, for whatever reason, you go to Bentonville. You always go to Bentonville. My dad and Richie taught me that. And but I'm grateful to Walmart. I'm grateful to you guys for having me on. And it's been a pleasure.
Okay. All right. So you're going to come back to Bentonville, right?
I'm here often. I'm coming back.
Well, you know who we are.
I'm coming back.
You have my numbers, so reach out. We'd love to have you on anytime you're back. To keep us an update on what you're doing and how things are going. I really want to go. I'd love to swim deep with you in this swim lane around these reviews, because I really see it as such a futuristic conversation that we need to be having, not only for the consumers but the suppliers. So we'll keep having that conversation. Okay.
I love it.
Thank you again. Okay, everyone. Great job, David, so much. Wholescale.com. So check it out. Go on there, check his company out. You've heard it from the CEO, the founder of the company. You can tell how he and his company, they stand behind what they talk about. So, David, again, thank you. Also, don't forget, check us out on all our streaming channels, your favorite channels. We're there. You can also check our website out, dbbnwa.com. Not only will this podcast be posted on our website, it'll be posted on all our streaming channels. Plus, we will talk with David about having an article on our website about his company and even more information about his company. So again, thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you again, David. It's been a pleasure.
Pleasure's mine.
Goodbye, everyone.